All right, let's get started on removing backgrounds from images. The point of this is going to give you different techniques on how to create masks out of selections that you've made. There's no one way to do any of these things, so I just wanted to show you a variety of different ways to do it. So to begin with, you're going to start with Photopea. And in the previous video, I had you download and uncompress all of the photos that you're going to use for this project. So I'm going to break this video up into several different pieces. So let's get started. You're going to start first by going to File and Open. And we're going to start by opening up this NASA Hubble image off of the photos you downloaded. So I'm going to open that one. So with this particular image, some of the terms I'm going to repeat over and over are pixels. Pixels are photos are composed of pixels. These are little squares. You may have seen old video games like 8-bit things. Those bits were made of pixels. Pixel is just a shortened word for picture element. So when Photoshop or Photopea or any manipulation program sees this, it doesn't see this as a planet. What it does is it sees it as a series of grids or bitmaps, and it has the code that creates that particular color. So when you get to the edge of a photo, as I'm moving this around, you can see a variety of different pixels. There's darker ones, lighter ones. And then when I get all the way over here to an edge, you can see it switches to the darker color that's the background. So if I zoom out, you can see that's the edge of the planet. And that's where there's a strong transition. Now, one of these techniques we're going to use is right over here, there's this magic wand. So when you go to the object selection, any of these tools that have a little white thing in the corner means that you can hold your mouse button down and it will actually show you other tools that are available. So we're going to start with the magic wand. The magic wand is made to specifically grab a lot of colors that are right next to each other that are similar. This is what's known as contiguous, things that are connected and right next to each other. Now, the tolerance determines how many pixels it picks up. So like, for example, if I click on this black area or this darker area, it did a pretty good job. It grabbed almost the entire black sky except for those little areas. When I click inside of here, depending on where I click, see it grabs in a more random selection because there's a lot more variety in the colors that are here. So what I want to do is if I increase the tolerance to a higher number, the higher it is, the more it grabs. So I'm going to grab 40. I'm going to click there. And that 40, when I grab the black, look at how clean that selection is on the outside. Now, it didn't grab a couple of these little pieces here, but that's no big deal because we can adjust that later. In fact, it might not even be noticeable. Now, what I'm going to do is now that that's been selected, I've selected the black sky. The problem is I want the actual sun. I mean, not the sun, but the planet. I'm going to go ahead and click on the mask. Notice what's happened. Anything that I didn't select, it cut it out. This grid, this little checkerboard pattern, is Photoshop and Photopea's way of saying that that's transparent. It's see-through. So if I were to add, and you don't worry about doing this because this is going to be something weird. If I were to add a color, the color fills the whole screen, but the sky from this photo is showing up in the background. I'm going to reverse this mask. So notice when I hold my mouse button down here, this one's just kind of explaining more details. This turns on the visibility of the layer. This selects the photo. That selects the mask. This is the name, and if you double click on it, it brings up other options for the layer style. So just be careful as you work through this. Each one of these does something a little bit different. So it's very easy to accidentally be clicking on the wrong thing. So I'll try to point out when we're doing these, which ones to really pay attention to. So when you're working with this, I want to click on the mask. And then now I want to reverse the colors. So right now, black is where the planet was. White is where the space sky was. With this particular mask selected, I'm going to press, oops, let me change that. I'm going to press Control I, or if you're on a PC or if you're on a Mac, it's going to be Command I. What this does is it inverts the photo mask. So it's now what used to be black is now white. What was white is now black. So black hides, white reveals. Think of it as shadows. You can't really see anything when the lights are out. White is when you flip the lights on and you can see what's there. So right now, the white area is the planet. I can see it. The black area is hidden. That was what was in the photo. If I turn that off, because we're not going to need that, I'm just going to drag that to the trash can. I now have that planet isolated, but if I want to go back and make any changes later, I can. What we're going to do is this. We're going to open up the wood table, and we're going to take the entire layer. So I'm going to hold my mouse button down on the thumbnail of this layer. The thumbnail is the preview of the photo. I'm going to hold my mouse button down. I'm going to drag, and I'm going to drop that right onto the wood table. And now I have a planet. Oops, I'm going to press Control D because I clicked on it with my magic wand. I have a planet on top of this table. For now, go ahead and save that if you are not continuing to work on this right now. If not, you can leave it unsaved. And the next video will show you a different technique to grab a different image that we are going to put onto this table as well. For now, I'm going to hide the planet by turning off the visibility. It's still in this file, but it's just hidden.